Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Skaven, and in particular the clan Eshin Skaven. In this video we're going to go through, talk about what's special about a clan Eshin army and how we can use the rules to start up our army. We'll then take a look at some other units we can start our army with before bringing in even more units to expand upon that initial force and help build us to our first 1000 point army, which we'll show you with a little sample army list at the end of the video for you to use as some inspiration to create your own Skaven army. And so, what exactly do we get with Clan Eshin? First of all, it's a sub-faction sort of with Skaven. Skaven don't have sub-factions in a traditional sense. Instead, for every Clan Eshin hero in your army you take, you'll be able to take a single unit of Night Runners or Gutter Runners as battle line. This makes mixed armies really easy to do, which is something Skaven have struggled with in the past, though in this video we're going to focus on doing a pure Clan Eshin army. And so, what do we get special for being Clan Eshin? Well, at the start of the first battle round, after determining who has the first turn, but before that first turn actually begins, you pick an enemy hero on the battlefield. You get to add one to your hit and wound rolls made by friendly Clan Eshin units that target that unit. Now, however, if you have 3 Clan Eshin heroes in your starting army, add one to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons only that target enemy heroes, all enemy heroes. So you get to reroll your shooting if you've only got the one hero you're targeting, but you get to reroll all melee if you've got 3. I think this is pretty cool. It really does make great for taking out some enemy characters, especially when you're getting that +1 to hit and wound for attacks just on a ton of different Skaven units. It can really make a lot of difference. And so, where to begin with our Clan Eshin army? Well, a Deathmaster is the place to go. He is the cheap version of Skaven hero. We do have some other Skaven heroes available to us, but I think he's the best place to start. 5 wounds and a 4-up save is pretty decent for a Skaven hero. He's got his Eshin throwing stars, which have 5 attacks at range, hitting and wounding on 4s with no Ren damage D3. He's then got 5 attacks in combat, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, Ren 1 damage D3. In addition, you can hide him in any Clan Rat, Storm Vermin, or Night Rider unit if you wish to, and then he can pop out during the combat phase and attack from there. You've also got the Eshin Toxins, where if he ever rolls a 6 to hit, he does D3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends, and this model can run and still shoot in any turn it wishes to. He's a pretty versatile hero and actually pretty good at taking out other enemy heroes or indeed smaller sized units. He can definitely do quite a bit of damage and got a lot of mortal wound output. Alongside him, I think the best suggestion is getting Night Runners. These are your cheaper unit and going to get more bodies on the table. 90 points for 10 models, and you're going to get the ability to have your Eshin throwing weapons for 1 attack at 4s to hit and 5 to wound, no Ren damage 1, and then 1 attack in combat for 4s and 4s to hit and wound, no Ren damage 1. They also have the unmodified hit roll of a 6 with either of their attacks will do a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. They have run and shoot as well, and the slinking advance allows them before the first battle round begins to make a free move of up to 2d6, which is pretty cool, giving you some ability to maybe even try and claim and capture objectives before the battle has even begun, forcing your opponent to have to come to you and try and play the catch-up game from the get-go. Looking at other units we can bring in, Gutter Runners are the more elite option we have, and they can become battle line as well through the taking an Eshin hero way, but you only get 5 models in a unit for 105 points, which is pretty substantially expensive. Now, they do have Eshin throwing stars for 3 attacks at range, hitting and wounding on 4s, no Ren damage 1. Then you've got their punch daggers for 2 attacks in combat, 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 1. They also have the mortal wounds on 6s as well, which is really nice, and run and shoot. Some generic things you get across all things Clan Eshin. Now, on top of that, you've got the ability of during deployment to instead set them up in reserve and then bring them on anyway on the table or 9 inch away from enemy units. So a really cool infiltrating, deep striking unit you have available to you. The next unit I want to talk about is Slink Skittershank. He is from the new Nevermaze box set for Warhammer Underworlds, and he's a pretty cool Eshin hero. Now, you could certainly take a second Deathmaster in him, but I think he unlocks a really nice and interesting unit. He himself has 4 attacks at range, 4s and 4s, no Ren damage D3, and then 6 attacks in combat at 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage D3. So he's got 1 more attack than your regular Deathmaster in combat, but 1 less at range. His Eshin toxins, however, are a D3 mortal wounds, which is really cool. He can run and still shoot, and he's also got the misdirection ability where if this unit is in 1 inch of his claw pack, which we'll talk about in just a sec, at the start of the combat phase, the strike first effect applies to this model, which is pretty cool. Now, speaking of his claw pack, Skittershank's claw pack has a variety of different miniatures in it, and they're all equipped with different weapons. You've got your Eshin sling, which 4 attacks at 4s and 4s, no rend damage 1, which is really cool. And then you've got a bunch of different weapons for them. They all have Eshin toxins doing D3 mortal wounds, which is really, really cool. This unit can pack out a lot of mortal wounds from the attacks it gets. You got the ability to run and still shoot, and instead of setting up this a unit instead of deployment, and if Slink's on the table as well, they can stay off the table and then come on from a reserve 9 inch away, or 6 inch away, sorry, for this unit from enemy units. So another useful option to have available to you, being able to, while, not the most defensive unit in the game, and Eshin just generally doesn't have a lot of defense. It's a nice army that wants to play the movement game and on offense a lot of the time, dictating how the game and the battle are flowing. The Vermin Lord Deceiver is the last piece of the Eshin puzzle. He is a whopping 405 points, but he does have his cool Doomstar for a d6 attacks at 3s and 3s, round 1 damage 2, and it does 2 mortal wounds if he ever rolls a 6 to hit with it. He's also got his warp weapons in combat for 6 attacks at 3s and 2s, rend -3, damage 2, and he's got a couple of prehensile tail attacks as well. He's got some cool abilities where he can't be shot at if your enemy's more than 9 inch away, a built-in 5-up ward save, and he can give +1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made by friendly clan Eshin units around him, which is really cool because this can essentially stop opponents' debuffs, and also give you the ability to get the rules you would get against heroes against non-hero units. And then he's got his own Dread Skitterleap spell where he can teleport a Skaven hero with wounds characteristic of 13 or less, so himself and any other hero he wants to, up to 6 inch away from all enemy units. So really good at getting your assassins right into those combats where they want to be, leading them for a 6 inch charge. And so here we have our little sample army list for the Skaven. We've gone for the grand strategy, take what's theirs. And when the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are more friendly units than enemy units in your enemy's territory, which is pretty easy considering you've got a lot of teleports, you've got a lot of deep strikes, you've got a lot of fast moving units and pre-game moves to get you into your opponent's territory nice and early in the game. Now, we've gone for the Triumph Inspired. +1 wound, I think, is the best way to go. You definitely could have the re-rolls to charge if you really want, making sure they charge, but you're not spending many command points on pluses to hit and wound thanks to the Eshin abilities, so you've always got command points there for re-roll charges and re-roll run, well, making runs a 6. Now, we've got our Deathmaster, who's going to be our general. He's got the command trait Unrivaled Killer, which is really cool for low points value games. What this does is you get the Eshin 3 model ability. Your general here will count as 2 models for your Eshin ability, meaning we only need 2 in our army to get rerolls to hit, or +1 to hit and wounds, against all enemy heroes. We then have the Shadow Magnet Trinket as our artifact for the army. This is a pretty cool one. It's going to, once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can use this artifact. It will allow you to get the Strike First effect. That combined with Slink, who will get Strike First as well while he's around his claw pack, makes, pretty cool couple of units. For Battle Line, we've got our 2 units, Night Runners, and they're going to be in the Expert Conquerors Battalion, meaning they count as 3 models each on objectives. They're also, obviously, Galatian veterans to be able to go inside that battalion. Our other units are going to be Skittershank's Claw Pack and 2 units of Reinforced Gutter Runners. So 2 units of 10 Gutter Runners, which are all going to be in expert in Bounty Hunters there, which means they're going to get that +1 damage in combat against any Galatian veteran units. 990 points out of 1,000, both our reinforcement points used. 58 wounds is alright, though this is a very light 58 wounds. There is not a lot of armor in the army at all. And 7 drops. If this army can get the jump on someone, I think it'll definitely have a really fun game to be played. Those characters are definitely going to do a decent bit of killing. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members, or grabbing some channel merch off our merch store on Teespring, which is on our YouTube store as well. You can also come chat with me and other members of our little community here and our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, along with the Patreon and YouTube members links. And as a special shout out to all those Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi390. And a special thank you to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Locke Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who comes on the channel and helps us create everything we do. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.